Each year, the popularity of professional football continues to grow, and the game itself grows more sophisticated. The actions of 22 men are spread out and fast-paced. Sometimes the game even has the sound of a foreign language.
Shift 3, wing fly, right 35 ISO on the color.
Wing shoot over 4, ready? Jumping.
Shift to a blue left opposite, fake buck 45, slide right 86 pass.
Hey, now get to those zones. All right. Nose under, banjo stay, ready?
Red T fullback, motion right, 24 lead on the audible.
43 over gap 8, stay, ready?
Don't let him out now.
Shift to brown right flip. Let's have a Y motion right, 138 on 3.
Shift to 44 to a 56 stack, pow.
Trips right, zoom, 39 sweep bob, I'm 2 down. Ready?
The line of scrimmage can be madness before the snap.
Double wing left! We're coming back here, coming back here.
Got a slot, double wing!
Watch the screen, baby.
On you, dog. Lion!
Area.
Key down, a key.
Right.
Key.
Once the ball is put into play, the ability to keep pace with the proceedings isn't always easy.
Get up in the hole! Get up in there! Okay, let's do something with it! Come on, D! Die, you dogs, die! Die, you
At least you ought to block somebody in there.
Come on, let's go! We ain't won nothing yet, let's go!
There is a pattern in the middle of this apparent chaos, if you know where to look.
Score! Dog it!
Great call! What a great call!
7 of the NFL's top head coaches are about to help you learn how to look. Your video disc player will let you slow down the game so that you can examine its parts in detail. These coaches, through this video disc program, will teach you how to watch pro football.
When we went into the game the first time, we felt that pitch 38 and 39B would be a good play. And I think that's a good idea.
For head coach Sam Ratigliano's Cleveland Browns and the other teams in the National Football League, there are only 6 days to prepare for game day.
Firmly establish a good run game by the use of pitch 28B, pitch 38B, slant 39.
In the position to handle the sweep game. Now you go to their 2 outside receivers and you know they've got 2 fine ones.
One thing that they will use is a weak side tornado when they bring 76.
This preparation and planning evolves into a game plan. Sam Ratigliano explains.
The game plan formulates itself through the process of us viewing film of the team that we're going to play. We have an opportunity to look at the previous 3 games, and from that we try to initiate what they do offensively in all the different type of situations, what they do defensively in all the different type of situations.
With your video disc player, you can do everything these coaches do and more. You can go forward or reverse the action. You can use slow motion or freeze frame, and you can step forward or reverse one picture at a time. You can also find the material easily by chapter number or by frame number. All the tools for precise evaluation and understanding are at your fingertips. So you, just like the coaches around the NFL, can break down the game and see things you may have missed the first time.
Brown slot, big hunch.
Blue right tight, close peel, double dive 222.
Run past 37, power O, wing go.
Split rip, sail, 36 power O.
2 open, H fly, 78 SQ.
Double up, left, 28, solid.
Shift T motion 6, 74 semi H3.
94, fullback, banana, hot right.
West, I, 2 tight ends, 77 and X, 28 pick.
They sent in the 74, but I thought the 78...
The dialect and strategy can be complex.
Yeah, let's go with
Pro G, 397.
It can also be schoolyard simple.
What we got to run, I'm telling you, it sounds crazy, is an 888. Deep down the middle and hope we get a pass interference, don't you think?
Every formation and play, whether intricate or easy, is cataloged in a playbook. Coming up, you'll be able to examine an actual NFL playbook. At your convenience, you can go back and step through it page by page. But first, you will see how this textbook can help you to learn how to watch pro football.
In a playbook, you have your system, your terminology system. Everybody uses something different to say the same thing. There are so many things. It so involves so many different plays and formations and such. You put in your total offense, and so if it's in the book, we should all know it, they should know it. The side the tight end is on is the strong side of your formation. You have the guard, the tackle, and the tight end. A 3-band blocking pattern there. The weak side, or the split side, we hate to use the word weak because then everybody thinks they're weak, is where the split end is. So you have one less blocker over there. To run that side, you must use a halfback block. He shouldn't, and usually isn't, as good a blocker as a tight end. Just by formations, you can pretty much predict where the ball's going to go. I get a kick out of the telecasters who say they're going to run to the right this time. Well, the tight end is on the right side. 80% of your plays will be run to that side, so 80% of the time he's right, and everybody says, boy, does he know football. Let's say your tight end is the right side. Your tailback lines up onto the weak side, towards the weak side tackle. That is called by most people a pro set. In that set, you're going to run somewhere around 75% of your plays, probably, from the right guard back to the split side. So we play that as a weak side running formation. Split formation, all it means is that the fullback moves himself over into the strong side of the formation. You have nobody in what the people know as the normal fullback position. You can sweep from it fairly well at times. To me, that formation, it leads more to passing because you have 2 backs now that are closer to getting out to the outside or getting into the flats quicker. The I formation basically is the quarterback, and then the fullback is in a 3-point stance, and behind him at various distance is the tailback. He's 7.5 yards deep. It is the one formation, in my opinion, that you can run outside to either side. You can run up the middle with it if you have a good blocking fullback with some very good plays. Also, the I back is the only back that's up in a 2-point stand. It gives a good runner a chance to really run for daylight because he gets a complete view of the play. Every formation has tendencies, so that's the first thing we have to know. The 4-3 is, or the 40 defense as we call it, is a 4-man rush concept. The 2 defensive tackles are over your guards. 2 defensive ends are slightly outside your own tackles. You have a weak side linebacker, and you have a linebacker who's always over your tight end. And there's a middle linebacker. He controls the charge of those people. There are various stunts they can use and such. I think one of the primary strengths, and for years, people still use it, you have 4 men to rush. 4 men who are taught to rush, work and rush, and with the various stunts you get in and the way they can overshift it and such, you can get in a lot of other defenses too. The alignment of the 3-4 defense is that there's a man on the center. There's 2 defensive ends in the ball game over either tackle, and that's all the down linemen you have. You have a linebacker over the tight end, and you usually have a linebacker on the split side, and 2 linebackers inside. We think we add team speed by taking a linebacker that's 230 or 235 and taking down a 260-pound tackle. We think the pursuit quality is very good. We can bring any one of our linebackers to give us a 4-man rush. We can bring them all, give us a 7-man rush. When you throw against it, they drop 8 guys back there. There just doesn't seem to be any room to throw the ball. Now, you can throw short against it and things like that, which people do. But again, I say that I think it's a very good defense. The fan, if he's setting up in the seat, he's already said what he would have run. But what he would really like to know is what we're going to try to run. And by the formations, by where the tight end is, if he knows all those things, he has a better chance.
I would say defense is very much a planned, coordinated attack. At one stage, I think, in the National Football League or in football in general, defense anyway was a sit, read, and react. And we found over a period of time that when you let the offense dictate to you, you can't be too successful defensively. So I think the thing has kind of changed a little bit to a point where you defensively have a plan of attack. We're trying to come off the ball, control the line of scrimmage, control the blockers. You're trying to force the offense to react to you, and we do that with a planned attack. Everybody has a first job. Let's say a defensive tackle, for example, is setting in there, and he's responsible for the area between the center and the guard. After he establishes his prominence in that area and sees that the ball is not coming, then he has to find the ball and pursue, and that's generally parallel to the line of scrimmage, and in a cutoff manner so that he intercepts the ball carrier as he turns upfield. There are several theories in stopping or defense in the run. One of them is to take a gap, everybody assigned a gap, and attack it, not allow a team to have a gap. Another one is a reading type defense where you get a lot of flow and a lot of pursuit, and you get a lot of people in a gap, plus somebody behind them if you read and react properly. Well, to stop the sweep, the primary responsibility falls on your 4 people in the secondary plus your linebackers who are engaged in a support. They have to read the difference between pass and run. As soon as they get a run key, they have to respond to the run accordingly. The job of the primary support man, the corner or the safety, who's ever involved, is to recognize the run and get to it in its formative stage. You may have coverages where your strong side backer could be the primary support man, but all the thing is coordinated so that you have a scheme to stop the wide plays. Usually you're going to have a big lineman coming out to block on them, and what we try to do is get enough penetration and dissipate the blockers and to keep it closed down. Of course, he's not doing it alone. He's got other people that are working with him. So he has to make sure that he's in a position where he can contain it. Or he can force it, pressure it so much that it's forced deep, and then the pursuit can enter into the play. pass rush is the thing that separates the National Football League, I think, from any other form of football. You really have to develop the techniques to rush the passer, and there are many techniques, and these are skills that are developed over a period of time. We're after getting in his way, getting in his face. Hindering his ability to see downfield. Make him put it up in the air as quickly as possible. They can't throw the ball, they can't follow through properly. We want to limit the amount of time that the quarterback has to throw the football. So obviously you've got a different rush technique based on how the quarterback's set. If you got a shallow setting quarterback, you want to pressure in the middle. If you've got a deep setting quarterback, then you want to come around the outside and be a little more effective that way. It's not only an individual pass rush one-on-one where one man is against one defender, but you'll get involved in what we call games or planned pass rushes where we're stunning and trying to help one another on the pass rush. There's a tackle-tackle game where the two inside people are involved in a cross. What you're trying to do is get penetration inside with one of the defensive tackles and then the other one coming around the outside. We call that a tackle-tackle game. And then you'll have tackle end game. The tackle end game is the tackle going first and then the end coming around underneath in a crossed fashion. And then the other one is an end tackle game. You can have the end jumping in a gap, blowing it with your tackle coming around. What you're trying to do is pressure them. All these things fall into place. And then, of course, there's the blitz, the area where you come with your linebackers and your secondary people who normally are covering on the pass to get a great deal of pressure on the passer, on the quarterback, and try to disrupt what they're doing. We'd like to get to the quarterback and sack him. I mean, that's our primary thought. There's no question about that. But we also want him to be conscious that we're coming after him. He knows the rush is getting close. Now, if you'll get rid of the ball quickly, then it's going to help our pass defense. Well, I think you have to play great defense to be a champ. If you can't stop the other team, you never give your offense enough opportunities. So we want to make things happen defensively.
Pass coverage ties in with the defensive lineman's rush, and in order to have a complete defense, you have to be able to do two things. The defensive backs have to have tight coverage on the receivers, so when the quarterback looks up, he can't just fire the ball. And if you have the tight coverage, then the quarterback is going to have to hesitate, and then that gives your rush a chance to get to the quarterback, and you get the sack and the big defensive play. Man-to-man coverage is exactly that. That means that your two corners are going to be man-to-man on the two outside receivers, and then your strong safety is going to be man-to-man on the tight end. Your weak safety can either be free in the middle of the field to help out, or he can be committed weak side to help on the weak back coming out of the backfield. The linebackers have man-to-man coverage on the backs that are coming out of the backfield. This, in the strict sense of the word, is man-to-man coverage. It's usually done when you're blitzing and you're committing your linebackers. You have to line up and play straight man-to-man coverage. One of the most interesting plays for the fan in the stands and for everybody except the defensive coach is the receiver running free and catching the 40 or the 50-yard pass down the field for the easy touchdown. But since zone defenses came into play, you see more and more short passes that are coming into play. It's because the defense is designed to stop the home run or the bomb. Zone defense, as far as I know, dates way, way back. I broke in as a defensive back in 1951, and they were playing some forms of zone defense at that time. Since then, it's become more and more sophisticated. But in a basic three-deep zone with a cornerman rotated up on the short outside, the strong safety has the deep outside, the weak safety goes to the deep middle of the field, and the weak side corner is responsible for the deep third on the weak side of the formation. The linebacker on the strong side drops to the inside zone, the middle linebacker works to the short inside zone, and a weak side linebacker works hard outside to take the short outside cut away from the weak side receiver. An inverted zone means that instead of the true outside rotation with a cornerman coming up and a strong safety going to the deep outside, on an inverted zone, the strong safety will run to the short outside and the cornerman will drop back and take the deep third of the field on that side. When the ball moves one way or the other, the zone tightens down to the side that the ball moves. A weak side zone means that the defensive backs are rotating away from the strength of the formation to the weak side. When they're rotating to the weak side, this means that the three linebackers then will drop to the strong side to give you the short zones. This is used generally when a team has a great threat as a weak side receiver. In the last 10 years, the coverage that's really come into effect in the National Football League that's caused a lot of headaches for quarterbacks and receivers is the double zone. This is where the two safeties just divide up a half of the field. And then you have 5 people to work with underneath. You still have 4 people rushing, and this, again, is confusing to the quarterbacks, and defensively it gives you another way to go to keep varying your defenses. Your normal setup is 4 defensive backs. The nickel defense is a defense where you employ 5 defensive backs in a ball game. You substitute a 5th defensive back for a linebacker. The nickel is used in an obvious passing situation, 2nd down and long yardage, 3rd down and long yardage. In order to play an effective zone, you have to, first of all, be able to delay the receivers as they come off of the line of scrimmage and keep them from getting down and causing separations between the short people in the zone and the deep people in the zone. It really gets to be a cat and mouse game. Something to remember as you are watching this or any other chapter is that with your video disc player, you can instantly review and analyze any of the material presented. The features of the system will help you understand more about the game, so use them to study and understand, for by doing this, you'll learn how to watch pro football.
Now is your chance to utilize some of the skills you've just learned. But first, turn off Audio Track 2. On Audio Track 1, you will be asked questions about specific plays. Use the capabilities of your disc player to examine the play and draw your conclusions. When you've answered the question, rerun the material, but this time turn off audio track 1 and turn on audio track 2. Audio 2 contains the answers. If you wish, you can respond to all 12 questions before going back to the answers. First, name the offensive set used here, then name the defensive alignment. Which side is the strong side, right or left? And what is the name of the offensive formation? What theory of run defense is being played by the Broncos here? What type of rush does the Bucs defense use here, and why is it being used against this offensive formation? What type of pass rushing game do the Steelers use on this play? What type of pass rushing game are the Cowboys using on this play? Name the type of pass coverage being used here, zone or man-to-man. If it is a zone, name the type of zone coverage. What type of zone pass coverage is being used here? What type of pass coverage is being used here? Man-to-man or zone coverage? The offensive set is a pro set. The defensive alignment is a 3-4 defense. The strong side is where the tight end is, to the left, and the formation is split. This is a gap defense. Note the defender doesn't pursue, but holds his gap. This rush is a blitz, and since the Redskins are in a split set or passing set, it's an attempt to hurry the passer. This line maneuver is a tackle-tackle game. Note the tackles exchange rush lanes. This is a tackle-end game. Note the tackle goes first, then the end in a cross fashion. This is a zone defense. Specifically, it is an inverted zone. Note the way the strong safety goes up and the strong cornerback drops deep. This is weak side zone coverage. Notice both safeties rotate to the weak side of the formation. This is man-to-man coverage. Coming up on side 2, you'll learn how to watch the running game, the kicking teams, and action near the goal line.